It's probably the most iconic building in Columbus, and the great thing about Leveque Tower is that it was the 5th tallest building in the world when it was built. It was opened in 1927. It was made out of white oak terracotta, again, which was very rare at the time. It was done in an art modern design, Art Deco modern design, rather. And the thing that's interesting about it is that it was also sculptural, so there's a lot of sculptures that were on the building that other buildings in Columbus didn't have at the time. So it's 555 feet tall with a little bit more on top. So the story is like it's about 555 feet, 5 inches, and I think 5.5 or 5 3/4 inches supposedly, and that was because to make it a little bit taller than the Washington Monument at the time, so it could be the 5th tallest building in the world. So I always find that fact is a little bit interesting. The other interesting thing I find about it was at one point the top floor was going to be an air harbor, so almost like an airport for Zeppelins or dirigibles at the time. It never happened, but it was definitely in the plans. It was even in the city directories at the time that they were going to do this. People could board at the top of the, I don't remember, I think it was the top floor. I think it's 47 stories, and somewhere in the 40th to 47th story, passengers are going to be able to board these dirigibles and fly off from that building. So I thought that was a really strange thing, but not unheard of, I guess, at the time to do that. So those are kind of my favorite stories about Leveque. The other thing is obviously the name changes. It was once called the American Insurance Union Citadel, but it went bankrupt. That company went bankrupt in the Depression, so it became Lincoln Leveque, and then later in the 70s, the Leveque Tower. So it's gone through numerous changes, done many renovations over the years. I guess the noticeable thing about it now is the lighting of it, and that was done during the renovation. I think between 2012 and 2018 is when they started doing all those sort of illuminations at the top of it, and that now can produce hundreds and hundreds of colors. So that was a new addition that's, I think, really made it iconic now, than opposed to just the structure and stature of it back then was the big deal about it at the time. It was not only ornate, but also just almost in a sense it was very like obelisk-like, right? So like the Washington Monument, this is very tall and towering. And if you look at the old photographs, it's the only thing you notice on the horizon, really. And as people are driving in, and they're little tiny 1920s jalopy cars, and I see the stature of those versus the stature of the building. It's kind of amazing to see. I'd also say that it's, I think the design of it is kind of timeless too, so it's really stood up through the years. It still looks I guess it's one of my favorite buildings in Columbus, because it just sticks out so much. Architecturally, it's just really interesting and unique. It's kind of gone through the different fads and still stayed as one of the most beautiful buildings in Columbus.